The world around Josh drained of colour, the noise of the circus fading into the background as his mind tried to deal with the realization that Zach was gone. Caitlin turned towards him, her eyes wide with fear and brimming with tears. Instinctively, he reached inside his jacket for the tachyon, his fingers finding the rewind button before it came out of his pocket. Praying that 2 minutes would be enough, he pushed it. Nothing happened. Rufius held up his own watch.
"They're useless. The entire circus is surrounded by some kind of stasis field. Something to do with the ticketing system."
Josh squinted in the half-light, anxiously scanning across the rows of seats, searching the sea of happy faces for any sign of a baby. Suddenly it seemed as if the entire audience was made up of families, children of all ages, squealing with delight at the antics of the clowns. "What's the matter?" asked Elixir, getting up from her chair.
"Someone's taken Zachary,"
shouted Rufius, his deep voice carrying over the noise.
"We need to search the marquee."
Her eyes hardened and her mouth set into a tight, thin line. She gestured to the rest of her family to get up, much to the displeasure of the people behind them. With her usual efficiency, Elixir organized them into pairs and sent them off in different directions. "They won't have gone far," she tried to reassure Caitlin. "No one can leave the tent during the show. I've sent Rufius to talk to Cuvier's security team. He'll have men covering all of the exits." "What if they get out into the park?" "They won't," Elixir said calmly. "Don't worry." Those were two of the hardest words Caitlin had ever heard. Josh wrapped his arms around her as the others left.
"Why would someone take him?"
she asked between sobs. The sense of loss was so intense it felt like someone was ripping her heart out. "I don't know," was all Josh could manage through gritted teeth. He wanted to be out there searching for him. He could feel the anger building inside like a coiled spring, his body tensing for action. In an effort to calm himself, Josh closed his eyes, letting his mind replay the events of the last 10 minutes. It began with the distraction by the Harlequin. For some reason he'd been convinced it was Dalton Eckhart, which made absolutely no sense. The arrogant bully who'd nearly destroyed the timeline hadn't existed in any of the last 50 iterations of the timeline. No one should even know who he was. But Josh could still see him, waving from the stalls with that stupid, leering grin on his face.
"Do you think it was because he's a seer?"
Caitlin whispered into his ear, breaking his concentration. Josh opened his eyes and sighed. "I doubt it. Hardly anyone knew."